Army targets terrorist gatherings in the countryside of Damascus, Dar'a, al-Qunaytira, Aleppo, Homs and al-Hasaka, eliminating a large number of terrorists. Al-Ja'fari affirms Syria's readiness to cooperate with sides of honest intentions at the UN Security Council to improve the humanitarian situation in the country. UNESCO denounces ISIL barbaric aggressions against historical sites in Syria and Iraq, branding them as crimes of war. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Irado Krikorian with the news in English. Syrian Arab army units have targeted terrorist gatherings in Khan al-Sheikh in Damascus countryside. In al-Qunaytira suburb, several al-Nusra terrorists were eliminated at the southern entrance of al-Tulul al-Humr district. Their gatherings were also hit in eastern al-Mleha and the vicinity of Abu Zaid water store. A number of ammunition warehouses and motor gun podiums were destroyed in Tal Shahab, As-Sura and Aqraba in Dar'a outskirts, where corps of armed men were also killed or wounded. In Palmyra countryside, 2 vehicles belonging to the terrorist ISIL organization were destroyed near Al-Bayyarat. In Aleppo and its suburb, a number of gunmen were eliminated in the surroundings of the Air Force Academy, Al-Mansura, Hritan and Babis. In Hama, on the other hand, a car belonging to terrorists was seized and all the gunmen inside were apprehended. The car contained large quantities of sophisticated communication devices and medical equipment. Syrian Arab army units, in cooperation with the People's Defense Groups, have maintained full control of eastern Ghouran neighborhood after clearing it of terrorists. In al-Hasaka, the Syrian Arab army units drove away ISIL terrorists, many of them non-Syrian, from large areas in al-Nashwa, al-Sharia and al-Nashwa al-Villat, inflicting on them heavy losses in men and material. In the eastern part of al-Hasaka, the internal security men at the Special Tasks Regiment and the Central Prison have eliminated a large number of ISIL terrorists. Syria's permanent representative to the UN, Dr. Bashar al-Ja'fari, has affirmed Syria's readiness to cooperate with all sides of honest intentions at the UN Security Council to improve the humanitarian situation in Syria. Dr. al-Ja'fari affirmed that the Syrian government is doing its best to end the crisis through peaceful means, adding that Syria is today fighting terrorism on behalf of humanity as a whole. UNESCO has condemned the barbaric aggression and destruction committed by ISIL in the archaeological sites in Syria and Iraq, branding them as war crimes. In a statement, the organization expressed deep concern over the situation of vital historical sites such as Palmyra in Syria, which was planted with landmines by ISIL, or the ancient part of Sana'a in Yemen. UNESCO also denounced ISIL's recent violent acts against Iraqi cultural heritage, including the World Heritage Site in Al-Hadar. The UN organization has strongly warned of the danger the World Heritage is currently being subject to due to the huge, unprecedented assault targeting it in Syria, Iraq, Libya and Yemen. The Lebanese army has arrested 8 Syrians in the villages of Al-Labwa and Arsal on the charge of belonging to terrorist organizations. The Lebanese army had recently detained dozens of terrorists and foiled infiltration attempts from Arsal. The Lebanese internal security had, on the other hand, held 2 people who were planning to detonate a booby-trapped car in Beirut 3 days ago. Welcome back. Iraqi Air Force has eliminated 20 ISIL terrorists in air raids targeting their sites in Al-Qa'im in Al-Anbar Governorate. One of their leaders, Abu Farouk al-Aqidi, a Syrian, who was in charge of planting explosive devices. Saudi Abu Bakr al-Jazrawi, Tunisian Abdullah Abu Sha'abi, Abdul Qadir al-Shamri and Abu Muslim al-Hardani. Iraqi troops also cleared al-Khuzaimi district and dismantled a trapped house in Watban Street. Finally, Saudi airstrikes have targeted al-Saifi region and other areas in Sa'da, north of Yemen. In retaliation, the Yemeni armed forces shelled the Saudi As-Salil rocket base with Scud missiles, scoring direct hits. The Yemeni army also stormed the Saudi Al-Rabwa camp in Zahran, inflicting huge losses on the Saudi soldiers. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. And now over to latest Noticias market news with Nariman Qassam, but after a short break. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The Central Bank of Syria announced that it will put into circulation a new 1,000 Syrian pound banknote during a press conference held today in the Central Bank. Governor of the Central Bank of Syria, Adib Mayale, pointed out that the step is part of the continuing efforts to improve the paper currency in circulation, to help maintain the integrity of paper currency and protect it from being damaged as a result of repeated use. On the other hand, the Central Bank of Syria has set the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Syrian pound at 276.36 for the banks and 276.37 for the exchange companies. The Central Bank has also set the exchange rate of the US dollar against the Syrian pound for the transfers at 275, while the euro exchange rate against the Syrian pound was set at 305.8 for the banks and 305.9 for the exchange companies. Chairman of the Syrian Exporters Federation revealed that the Syrian exports basket consists of a wide variety of raw materials and industrial products, in addition to the circulation agricultural exports that include citrus and fruits. Moreover, the chairman clarified that during 2014, several goods and products have been exported, including citrus, apples and grapes, in addition to the pharmaceutical sector that were occupying a major part of the Syrian exports. But part of its facilities became out of service now as a result of the current crisis. Oil hovered below 3-week lows today as investors waited for developments in Greece following a bank shutdown, keeping them away from riskier assets and putting Brent crude on cruise for a second month of declines. European stocks slipped and Chinese shares reversed losses as the government stepped up efforts to buoy sentiment amid a bear market. Japan's Nikkei share average rebounded today after posting its second biggest daily drop this year in the previous session, but the market remained cautious over developments in Greece. Gold retained gains from a two-day rally today, boosted by safe haven bids as Greece heads close to a debt default, raising questions over its future in the Eurozone and rattling global equities. The euro fell today on month-end flows, and as investors braced for a near certainty that Greece will default on a repayment to the International Monetary Fund later in the day, putting the country at risk of an exit from the Eurozone. Ladies and gentlemen, this was our economic news for today. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.